All right, we're back again. So now we're gonna do the final step here. We're gonna go ahead and copy that new file we just created into a S3 bucket. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's get it. All right, so YouTube ingest, boom. So if you recall, we can make this larger for you all. I'll do this better going forward. So as you recall, we had our YouTube ingest script thus far. So first, we're gonna go ahead and get the video IDs, and then we're gonna go ahead and return those IDs. Then we're gonna have a loop here to go through each one of those IDs, create a file. So this is this write transcript that takes in a YouTube ID, right, and a transcript ID. And this transcript ID is what we're gonna save it as. So here we're gonna open a file, store it in some folder. We're going to use the YouTube transcript API to go ahead and get that transcript, and we're going to loop through that particular transcript and write each line to a file, then close the file. Boom. We have this file, we open it up, and we have this line here, right? What we showed as a bonus was you can go on GPT-3 and go ahead and format this in a way, although you could probably get better. But this is good for now for our purposes, for the simple fact that, of course, what we're going to be doing is just adding this to our corpus of data, and then we can clean it later, right? We just want to go ahead and get the data in one spot, and then we can execute all the cleaning and all that good stuff later. If we wanted to do it, I guess technically we could go file.write, and then we could go like some particular new line, right? So, or maybe we could just go F format here and then put this in some brackets, right? And then at the end of this, we can go ahead and do a new line. Let's go ahead and do this correctly. Put the brackets here, and then we go ahead and do a new line. So for some reason, string nested F string cannot use the same quotes. Okay, of course they can't, so we have to do single quotes. Awesome. So I just wanted to highlight this so you can kind of get an idea, and let's go ahead and run this. And we should see it. All right, cool. So we have this also obviously in append mode, so it's going to append it, and it's not going to look very good. So we're going to go ahead and delete that, and we'll run it one more time. And as you can see, it looks a little bit better. You could argue we have a lot of white space now, but yeah, let's not get the white space. I like it. And we wrote 2 new lines, so that's kind of my fault there. Let's go ahead and just format this because we want to make sure it looks decent, half decent, right? There we go. This looks better. Okay, great. So this is fine. We can work with that. Okay, great. So now we have this formatted. Let's go ahead and do some refactoring. So first, we're going to go ahead and for this particular file, we want to go ahead and just name a folder that we want to go ahead and pass in here. Let's parameterize this, right? So let's say bfill trades, right? And let's go ahead and pass in folder here. And then let's go file name. And let's go ahead and say an F string, and let's say transcript underscore, and we're going to say transcript ID. And we'll say .txt. And then we'll go ahead and pass the file name here. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because when we go ahead and copy it to S3, we want to go ahead and just be able to pull the file name and not have to parse it in our next function that we're going to create. And speaking of next function, let's go ahead and create that next function. So we're just going to go ahead and call this copy file, and we're going to pass it some folder and a file name. Great. And let's go ahead and we don't need to specify the folder here because we actually do already have it. So, and the reason why we need this folder, right, is because we want to go ahead and open that file from the folder in our default directory. Now, you could get smart with this, use path variables, I get it, but we're just trying to keep it simple for now so you can go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and file, and let's go open that file. Or we actually don't even need to do this, to be honest with you. We can just go ahead and use S3. So now that we have, let's go ahead and pass so we get rid of the squiggly here. Let's go ahead and import Bodo 3. And if you're not familiar with Bodo 3, this is the AWS library. So if we go here, Bodo 3, and you can see here, and you can go ahead and peruse this. You can available services, and we're going to be using S3 just so you can get an idea of how to search it, right? Hit the S3, and we look here. This is the API that we can call, and we say upload file. This is probably what we're going to do here, and it's going to tell you how to do that here. So you need to pass the path to the file, the bucket name, and then the name of the file that it's going to be stored as in the S3 bucket. So let's go ahead and do this now. So we're going to go ahead and move back to our YouTube ingest. So we have import Bodo 3. Let's go ahead and do a global here. So let's say bucket name, and let's go ahead and paste our bucket name. So if you need to know how to get your bucket name, we can go to our S3, and let's go here. And this is going to be our bucket name here, raw data storage YouTube. Awesome. And so let's go ahead and put that there, raw data storage YouTube. And so we're going to go, first and foremost, we need to go ahead and create a S3 client. So let's say S3 equals Bodo3 dot client, and we're going to name this S3. So now we have the S3 client. Now we can go ahead and talk to AWS. And side note, this assumes that you already have an AWS access key and secret key already instantiated on your computer. If you don't know how to do that, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to that. Let's go here. Let's go creating AWS access key. And you can go ahead, and this is for PowerShell. Let's not do that. Let's go here. This is probably going to help you here. So managing the access keys here, and it's going to go ahead and give you a good idea on how to get that. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that inside of our board here. And you can go ahead and go here and get this particular file. So great. And learn how to do that. Maybe if there's enough comments for it, I'll go ahead and make a video to show you all how to do that. So this is going to assume that. So let's go ahead and say S3, and we're going to go ahead and say upload file. And we need to go ahead and pass a bucket, right? And we say bucket equals bucket name. That's why we created it. We say key equals, and now this is where we want to go ahead and have a folder in our S3 bucket. And so we want to say, this is why we passed our folder here. So let's go with F string, and let's say our folder, or rather we want to call it something probably a little bit different, but maybe it's good to just have our folder here. So let's do that. Let's go folder, and let's go / and let's say file name. Awesome. So it's going to create a folder with that particular file name, or it should at least, right? So we're going to go ahead and next we're going to pass the file name on the back end, and excuse me, this is the file name that we want to copy from here, so, or locally, and we'll say F string, and of course we want to use the folder, so we'll say file path, and we'll say an F string, and of course we'll say folder, and of course file name. So we can actually, for this particular key, we can go ahead and pass the file path, since it's looking like it's going to be the same here, and we'll go ahead and file path because we don't have the folder already created, but typically we just want to split these up. So I'm going to actually just keep it how we had it. Sorry for the indecision, y'all. So we'll say folder, and then we'll say file name. So we can go ahead and switch out this particular folder name, let's say S3 folder equals folder. Just so we can go ahead and switch that out just in case, right? Just for later, we're going to play around with this. So the file name is actually just going to be, it's going to be the S3 folder, or excuse me, it's going to be the file path. My apologies there, because this is local. Okay, so great. Now we should be able to transcript one from bfield trades, and the S3 folder name should be bfield trades once we execute this. So let's go ahead and do that here. So once we write this file, right, let's go ahead and say response equals, and inside of that response, we're gonna go ahead and get we split these folders in the file name up, right? So we can go ahead and return that here. So let's go ahead and return folder name, and that's gonna be the folder name. And let's go ahead and return file name, and that's going to be the file name. Let's just go ahead and not do that there. And we're going to go ahead and return the YouTube ID for later on, or maybe other use cases. So awesome. So we return that. Now inside this response, we should be able to get that out. So let's go ahead and copy the file. And in the copy file, we need a folder. So we're going to say response.folder name. And we're going to say the file name is response.file name. Awesome. We're going to format that. Beautiful. And we should be able to run this now. Let's try it. Okay, it has no folder name here, so we need to go ahead and reference this folder name like that, and file name like that. There we go. All right, we got an unexpected key. So S3 folder / file name. And the file name, we need to go .txt probably. That's probably what we need to do. And I'm guessing ultimately it doesn't have that folder created. So that might be a problem here. Yeah. So unexpected keyword in the argument, and it's saying key, and we go here to our function and we look here, we see the bucket name, we see the key here. Maybe we need to go ahead and capitalize it, and there we go. Oh, now we should be able to go to our actual bucket, and we should be able to refresh this. And there we go, bfield trades, and we see the transcript.text.text. So let's just go ahead and remove this because we already named it .text because that's the file name. And let's run it one more time. Make sure it looks decent. Awesome. And there we go. So we have our file.text. So we can go ahead and we'll just delete this via here so we don't have to go into the actual programming language and delete it. Since it's simple, right? We're tutorial land. Okay, so now let's go ahead and loop through everything. And let's go ahead and say I'm guessing we can go ahead and maybe let's say num, right? I'm guessing we could probably do it like that. So too many values to unpack. Okay, great. So it's probably not going to work unless we enumerate it. So let's go ahead and say num equals 0, or let's just say 1. So we can start with transcript 1, and then we'll pass in num, and then at the end of this we'll say num plus equals 1. Awesome. All right, let's go to work. And as you can see here, our transcripts are getting downloaded. And it looks like we ran into an error in write transcript. And we're going to close the file, but we're going to continue. So here, it looks like in the actual try catch here, we'll try, right? And then we'll accept. And we'll continue. So let's do this one more time. So you saw subtitles are disabled for this video. We need to be able to catch those errors and do something with it. If there is an error, which that's fine, it happens. Awesome. So we got all our transcripts. You can see for the most part. And again, you want to make sure as you're extending this particular thing, you want to go ahead and catch these errors and do something with them. Like this, for instance, if you run into an error like this, then you need to do something with it, right? No transcript, so you can't obviously download that transcript. There's not going to be anything there. But ultimately, what we just did was we bulk downloaded, wrote the files, and then now we should see them all here inside of our folder. And as you can see, we have them all here inside of our folder. Let's go ahead and download one, check it out. Alrighty, it is 6/12/23. We are back again. All right, I like that. I like how this guy, starts phrasing things up. And as you can see, this is the correct text. So hopefully you learned something here. I know this one ran a little long. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me some feedback. Let me know what you'd like to see. I know there were some things that we didn't cover, such as the AWS access keys and secrets. If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comment section. If not, we're going to continue on with doing stuff with this data. And this is going to really end the data ingestion at a very simple level. Again, leave a comment, hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.